and by 1958, they called the All Africa Conference. So this conference was held on the 15th of April, 1958, in the city of Accra, Ghana. African leaders and political activists gathered at this first conference of independent African states. So the first conference of independent states in Africa. It was attended by representatives of the governments of Ethiopia, Ghana, Liberia, Libya, Morocco, Sudan, Tunisia, the United Arab Republic, which was the Federation of Egypt and Syria, and the representatives of the National Liberation Front, FLN, of Algeria, and the Union of the Cameroonian Peoples, UPC. This conference was significant in that it represented the first Pan-African conference held on African soil. It's very important that we emphasize that now. Other conferences were held. We had conferences, we had other Pan-African conferences in England. We had other Pan-African conferences outside of Africa, more than one. Yes, we had a great conference in 1945 in England. So this was now by the 15th of, in fact, from about 1920s, we have been having African conferences. But it was held outside of Africa, in the West, in Europe. It was held. But this now in 1958 was the first Pan-African conference being held in Africa. So you can imagine what a great joy it was that we could now get together. Countries are now becoming independent. So the first set of independent countries in Africa gathered 1958 at the conference in Accra, Ghana. In 1963 now, the conference then more or less moved to Ethiopia, 1963. That's when they gathered next in Ethiopia. And by that time now, it had developed to over 32 independent states. And that was another great, and so out of that conference now in 1963, 5 years after the Accra Conference, you had the OAU being formed, Organization of African Unity, OAU, O for organization, A for African, and U for unity. That was formed in 1963 in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. By that time now you had 32 independent countries from Africa. And that's how it was born. Now you have over 54 countries in Africa, you know. So it's much bigger, much more gigantic. So the African Liberation Day was cited as the 15th of April, 1958, first, when that first conference was held in Accra, Ghana. Accra is the capital of Ghana. When that first conference was held, the day that was deemed as Liberation Day was the 15th of April, 1958. By 1963 now, they moved that day to the 25th of May. 25th of May. That was why the other day we celebrated it all over. Some people might celebrate it a day or two after. Some people are still celebrating it. There are a few schools that are still celebrating it, still celebrating African Liberation Day. I have been invited to a couple of schools. I'm going to use, I can't go all of them, but the advantage is that I can use technology. So some I will be sending a video, some of them I'll be sending a voice note, and some of them, a few of them, I will be present in person. One of the schools them is Low River Primary School near Christiana. I've never been there before, so I choose that as one of them that I should go to. You know, I can learn in going there, but I want to go somewhere deep rural to talk to the little children, because that's where we're starting from. We are in all sort of things coming out of different areas. Some deep rural areas, all sorts of shootings, this, that. Well, all right, let's go into some of these areas, because it is these areas that need to know about Africa. Yeah, it's these youths that we want to teach how the greatness of Africa, so that they will stop firing the guns and killing black people. So, yes, so the first time now we talk about African Liberation Day, it was the 15th of April, 1958. And thereafter, every 15th of April, it was celebrated. Then now, like I said, by 1963, in Addis Ababa, when the Organization of African Union was formed, by that time it was 32 liberated countries of Africa came together and they formed that great and grand occasion. I'm glad to see the KSAMC had that function on Saturday at the Mandela Park. It was very good, very, very good. Quite a lot of people came. There was room for more, but it was nice. And the stage was very good down at St. William Grand Park. Stage was set. Lots of people downtown otherwise came. The music was provided by Brother Muta Baruka. The MC was Sister Blackwood Meeks. She did quite well. And we had a grand time. We had stalls there selling, I was there selling books and so on. But it was nice. It was nice. You had Brother I Nation there. And you had other persons selling African clothes, African drums, African food, and so on. Veggie wheels on meals were there. Yes. Brother Libby was there, and others. It was a good, nice occasion, when we could mingle amongst each other, reason with each other, and we had some African displays. And so Jesse Royal was one of those who performed. He performed very well, and Hezron also performed well, and a couple of other artists. I didn't write down all the names, but I want to say, give thanks. So we had a lovely day, and we are hoping that next year now will be even bigger. I've been told by the mayor, because he was there, Mr. Swaby, the mayor, he said that they are definitely working on a bust. They are definitely working on a bust for St. William Grant. Imagine, the park is named after a great man, St. William Grant Park. St. William Grant was a great man, and you don't even have a picture of him in the park. So I said to the mayor, that has to be corrected. You must put up a bus, you must put up a picture. So I said, yes, they are working on that, and he has promised to correct that situation. Why I say St. William Grant Park was a great man? The day when he was arrested for keeping a meeting. This was in the 1930s. He was the one who organized the meeting at the corner of Church Street and North Street. St. William Grant organized that meeting. And at that meeting, Buster spoke. Buster Manty, he spoke at that meeting. And at that meeting, friction took place. And police started beating people. That meeting now, they arrested Buster Manty. They arrested Buster Manty and they arrested St. William Grant. So yes, you are the organizer. Boom, bust up him head, St. William Grant. Them don't lick Buster, you know, no. No, them not gonna lick the big red one. No, sir. But them beat up St. William Grant, bust up him head. They carried them to Central Police Station. Same place for Central there from them time there. Same place Central that they know. They carried them to Central. Not just two of them, other persons were carried also. But the dramatic thing was, at that time, Buster used to live on Beckford Street. That's where Buster used to live, because I remember the downtown was like now. You had rich people living in downtown. They preferred to live downtown. So Buster had lived on Beckford Street at the time. So you don't know what the police them do. Them send up a Buster house for Buster bed. Them couldn't put the tall red man on the floor at Central. Them not lick him, you know. Them carry him now, them send for him bed and carry him bed down a Central. So as him could have lay down upon him bed. But guess what them do with St. William Grant now? After them bust up him head, them make him sleep on the cold concrete. Not even a sponge them off for him. That's where St. William Grant got through. That's where that little man. So don't think, say, many people might feel say the park should name after a greater man. No. He was a UNIA. He was a Marcus Garvey follower. And him greater than many. We say they have been healing all over St. William Grant. So I wish if more could be mentioned about him. More could be printed about him. And much more videos of him be shown, so that day by day our people can grow in respect of him. Please. But they promised me that they're going to put up a bus, they're going to put up pictures, and they will start printing even like a pamphlet about him. Great St. William Grant. Yep. So brothers and sisters, we're here and we want to make sure Africa Liberation Day time, and we going to go into it and deal with that. But for now, we will play some Serafina.
Sarafina,
Yes, that was Serafina. Nice, nice, nice. Tonight, we want to keep the program interesting. I'm gonna play a few clips for you, which I think some of you may have heard, but some of you will find very interesting. One is on sugar. When we say sugar, not to be eaten, not to be taken, we want you to take it seriously. We know sugar and sweets and children go hand in hand. Children love sweets, but because you break them down upon it, But sugar, as is from them as children, you must get it into their blood that they must avoid sugar, bitter sugar. So we're going to play a tape on it. We're going to also play a tape regarding to show you what Malcolm X has been saying from the 1960s about the oppression of the Palestinians. Yes, the oppression of the Palestinians from 1960s, brothers and sisters. It's not yesterday or today. 1960s. The oppression of the Palestinians, that Malcolm X had to come out and talk in support of them. So, I think I have a duty to play that you can hear exactly what Malcolm said in regard to the Palestinians. I find for the past few days, I've had reasons to go to a bank. And every time I go to a bank, I hear endless quarreling. Endless quarreling. It's either a man or a woman. Not just man alone or not just woman alone. Quarreling. And the quarreling is mainly, from what I hear, is the length of time that people have to be spending in the bank. The length of time. It's serious, my brothers and sisters. I had to go to a bank, and I'll tell you, Victoria Mutual. And I tried hard to develop a relationship with Victoria Mutual because I tried hard to avoid the two big guinea dogs, Scotiabank and NCB. I tried to avoid them and work more closely with Scotiabank and Victoria Mutual. But I realized that the quarreling and the behavior of the people is justified. It's justified. Because I went one day and I had to stay 3.5 hours. A little thing. 3.5 hours. And another day, I get into the habit now of sending my son down to the bank when I'm going to do any business. Send my son. So one day, the teller called me and said, Mr. Lorne, why don't put him on the account? Instead of each time you send him, you have to send a letter. And each time you send that, we have to call you. And sometimes we can't get you. So just put him name on the account. I said, but no, that makes sense. That makes much body for sense. No. Believe, brothers and sisters, believe it. It's me and my wife's name that is in the account. It's a joint account. So they insist that two of us must come. to put his name on the account. All right? It's a good thing now. Last Friday was half term. She teaches. So it was half term. So she got a day off from school. Because if she never take a day off, she'd have been so frustrated. Because we're down there for 4 hours just to put his name on the account. This is an account which I opened from 1984, brothers and sisters. At Victoria Mutual from 1984. 40 years now. And I'm going to put someone's name on the account. The amount of things we have to carry proof of income, we have to carry proof of address. You can imagine a institution that I took a mortgage from, pay off the mortgage, and I go now, and they're asking for proof of address. What madness? Proof of address? I don't have no. I hardly have any bills and all them things in my name. No. Proof of address? Can you imagine? Oh man, it was disgraceful, man. But then I realize, I'm starting to realize, all this is poker, Proceeds of Crime Act. Poker is all of that coming down on us. Poker. It says, you people, when you hang off and bus and go to conferences and cheer on these, and you don't realize it's the same politician go to parliament and pass laws that cause you to cost so much at the bank. Same politician them pass the Proceeds of Crime Act. And the Proceeds of Crime Act says, even if you have, not exact in that exact words, but even if you are with the bank for over 40 years, you might have to come there to come put a new signature on the account. All this level of oppression carrying people through. Proof of address. Oh man, it was disgraceful, brothers and sisters. Disgraceful. You know? And not to mention the other things that I hear people quarreling about at Victoria Mutual and other banks. This is how I know. There are other banks that I'm a signatory to the account. I don't draw money from it. I don't lodge money to it. These are, let me put it this way, estate accounts of clients that we have. And we have some accounts, some of them long time and all of that, you know. But in order to make the legalities go through, I have to put my name to some of these accounts. Now, I see I get notification from these other banks now that I need to submit. I need to submit. The branch is now saying that I need to send my signature. Is either I send my signature and it must be witnessed by a justice of the peace or so. I can send my signature, them send out a card, I can send my signature, witnessed by a justice of the peace, or I can come to the bank. This is one of them come from CIBC. Like I said, for years I haven't participated. The account is live because an estate account and other persons are transacting in the account. You know, but no, so I know must go provide a presumably updated signature to the account whereby when apart from when the account was opened and I signed. I've never even gone back to that bank. Like I said, I've not transacted anything to do with the account. neither lodge, neither take out. But now I'm required that if I want for them to keep the account open, I must come now. Either come in person, come sign, or sign on a form which they have sent me before Justice of the Peace and send them. And I must bring along all sort of papers, including proof of address. Can you imagine? I live at the same place for 40 years. I must bring proof. No, I'm not carrying. I can tell them that, I'm not going carrying a proof of address. I am the man. But I realize now that under the poker, that they put pressure on the bank now, that all Jamaicans must be earning illegally, And so I when I thought about it, I look up a case which I did about 2015. Case which I did. And it was year how the case went. The two brothers, not blood brother, two brethren, Jamaicans. They were traveling in a car in the United States. Police stopped them and they found about 6 pounds of ganja. The police then now go to their home and is investigating the ganja find. The police see some paper showing that they send money to Jamaica. That they send remittances to Jamaica. The police now take it upon themselves and order, and I'll tell you the company that they work through in Jamaica, a company known as, this is a government agency, the Assets Recovery Agency, a team known as the Assets Recovery Agency. That is who now the Americans work through. The Americans now start to work through them. Send down now, say, well, check out the man business there. When them check it out down here now, them search for the man them and them family. Have couple houses, have couple places. So all of a sudden now, it becomes now that they want to seize the places. They want to say, is that the man who do a sell ganja and send back the money to Jamaica? 6 pounds of herbs, So they sent down to this team and Assets Recovery Agency. Them based on by Shalimar Avenue. The government agency work closely with the police. So the police now raid the yard them down here and seize the titles to the properties. Seize the titles to the properties. Freeze the bank accounts of the parties. It's quite a few of them. Big family. Seize the bank account. Freeze the assets. Freeze it. Because them said, no, you won't be able to draw the money now. And seize the titles. The assets recovered went to court. They were served no papers upon them, Just went to court and asked for an interim order. The judge, according to law, can ordered an interim order. That means the accounts freeze. You can't draw no money. When they went to the bank tell them, say, assets recovery has given them a court order saying that the account is frozen. The people have business around, People have people to pay and all that, Can't draw no money. Titles when them have to the property, can't transact no business. When we hear about it, we now apply to the court. We want to set aside the interim order. Big thing at the court now. When we go. It's a good thing, and I say it strongly. It's a good thing at the time the judge was the present Chief Justice, Justice Sykes. Why I say that? He is a strong man. He has a strong mind. And in these matters, he needs strong minds. But the problem with the Proceeds of Crime Act now, you must prove, you the individual down here, must prove, say you get the places them will buy in a, whether I pick the name or mother name and all that, you must prove that you got the places legitimately. They put the onus on you, the people now down here. Well, I tell you, see, that day we left court after 8 o'clock at night. About 9 o'clock, we left the courthouse. Because when we say 5 o'clock come, the judge said to our lawyers, you better go and take your car out of the car park. I take the car park right beside the courthouse. Them lock up at 6 o'clock. Judge said, boy, I got to take out in the car them from now, because they got lock up over there. I'm going to finish this matter tonight, whether what come hell or high water. So we went right through. After 9, we still there court. But I can tell you people, there was one lady who was the mother of one of the youth that police had hold in the car in America. And although she had given an affidavit is like evidence. So we had prepared an affidavit which she signed. But she still insists, she was about 80 odd. She still insists on coming to court. Although she give her affidavit and just sign it and say, oh, she get the money, she still want to come to court. And brothers and sisters, there's a big difference between where you put on paper and where you come and say. When I say difference, not say different from what? One not different from the other. But that drama that night, when that lady stood up and she said, Justice Sykes, I'll do a put in something there. I want to talk to you. The judge said, go ahead. And the lady put on, he said, just, Jamaican women have a way of holding them skirt tail. When I'm talking, I have them skirt and thing. And my way when I'm talking, them hold them skirt tail. Them not lift up the frock, but them have to talk and hold them skirt tail. And like sometimes when I dance, dinky mini and them things, Rumba dancing and maypole dancing, and so sometimes them hold them skirt is a thing. I noticed that it is also not just the elder people, but even the young people them do it. So when she hold her, she have to hold on to her skirt, the tail of her skirt. And when she start talk to the judge and say, imagine, let me tell you, Judge, I work over a school. I don't want to call the school name. But I work over a school as janitor. I clean up the school. I clean up the school toilet. All them things I do every morning. I forgot here. I've been doing that for over 50 years. I also have animals. Cow and goat and them things there. I tie them out every morning. Every morning I have to go and tie them out. And I have a little stall by such and such a place. So I have to set up my stall. So when I finish at school, I have to come there and so on. And to go and talk. And beloved, this lady said, no. After me do all of that, no me I hear say, I drugs money buy my place. After me go through all them things there, no me hear say people from abroad send down paper, say I drugs money buy my place. And the lady put on a demonstration. And it impressed Mr. Justice Sykes. It impressed him. Because he said there are some things that can't be explained on paper. And he said, I understand. How does a mother who get below a minimum wage send her children to school, have 5 children, send all of them to school, give them lunch money, give them bus fare? How does it happen? Look how many mothers have been doing that in Jamaica. It don't add up, you know. If they must sit down and tell you how much them spend, $10 upon that, $5, it don't add up. But they have been doing it all these years. And I was glad that him said that. Because we all know, our mothers know how to cut screw and cut corners and help us. Sometimes them don't eat, you know, but you're not going to know. Sometimes some of them do domestic work to send their children to school, you know. And you ever wonder how the Jamaican mother do it? Because in enough instance, the father gone. Father gone, man. His mother with 5 children, 7 children, buckle and bitter bruise. Yeah. And not only take care of them, buy uniform, send them to school, give them lunch money, give them bus fare, or in some instances give them taxi fare, and make ends meet pan little or nothing. So when this lady say, I do all that for buy the place for me have, when now me hear say, police come from my house stop, soldier and police come, say, a drugs money me use. You can imagine? Lady, what she said to the court that day, not only moved the court, you know, but she was hurt. She was hurt. Just a mere thought of them saying that. She was so hurt that she felt like she had to talk to vindicate herself. And I tell you, my brothers and sisters, she did vindicate herself. She did vindicate herself. And so the judge lifted the interim order. In other words, that they could now access their account and that the Assets Recovery Agency was now to return their titles to them. Still don't finish yet. The 2 man them get off of the case up so in America. Some thing go on, you know. I know the details, but I mean I have had documents which explain some of the details, but the search was illegal. The search of the car was illegal, and therefore anything found in an illegal search had to be abandoned. So the 2 man them get off of the case up so. So all that hullabaloo down here now, you know, all that embarrassment, you know, police and soldiers I come in a grassroots community, 4 o'clock in the morning, come raid. You can't imagine the embarrassment for the families, them and all them things, man. You can't imagine the embarrassment. You go to the bank and the bank tell you, say, no, your account is seized and it's frozen. Embarrass you and all them things. You can't imagine what them go through. You know what I mean? All because of this Proceeds of Crime Act. All because of that, brothers and sisters. And when the documents, because they had to send down documents, and when I read the documents, I have all of them here now because the file is a big file. And I went through it and I come prepared for people. Read some of the affidavits or some of the brother them in America signed. But it's boring. Boring. But when you read, you realize they had a weak case in America. They had a weak case against the two man them. But I feel when them go to the home, when them say so, is when them go to them home and see remittances to Jamaica. Don't tell me which Jamaican man gone up, left him family down here, him mother, him baby mother, him daughters, him children, and do send money to Jamaica. And when you send money, don't tell her you want her to live better than that's why you go up. And you send back remittances and it's drugs money you must send back. It's hurtful. But that is how they treat we now, beloved. That is what cause the problems at the bank. Because them can hurt the bank. Them can push around the bank. And the bank are just like a boys in short pants or do them bidding. And the government, the members of parliament are just some stooges. They're not people who stand up to America and say, no, I can't put my people to all that. I have an account with the bank for 40 years and I must now bring proof of address. No, I tell me I'm not going to bring none. Proof of address. And the very place is you lend me money for to buy it. And me most. No. No, and I know this is happening to a lot of people because I hear the quarreling in the bank. People have been asked to come in now to give new signature, new this, new that. It's bad, brothers and sisters. And we should make it clear to our members of parliament, you know, why should we stoop so low? This Proceeds of Crime Act. So if you find a car now, 2 Virginite with 6 pounds of ganja, so the house you're buying in Jamaica, you realize what's happening, brothers and sisters. Not even in America, you could have seized people's house when you find 2 pounds of ganja in the car. But you want to seize people's house in Jamaica? The lady get up early in morning time, go tie out her goat, tie out her pig them, tie out her cow them, and now just to make ends meet. Picture how hurtful she feel that now she hears a drugs money by our house. Wow. But that's what our government has put us to. Has stooped so low. That's what our government signed those papers because they bring these cases, you ever put it, in the matter of an application by the Assets Recovery Agency for a restraint order pursuant to Section 32 and 33 of the Proceeds of Crime Act 2007. It's under the Proceeds of Crime Act that they bring these cases. The Assets Recovery Agency is an agency of the government, and they carry out with the police how to raid and seize people. Hurtful, man. Hurtful. Hurtful.
We're charging heaven. Give us this day our daily bread.
Thy will be done as it is done in heaven. Hallowed.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Yes, I. Yes, I, along the Serafina line. Yep. Let's continue now. Tribute to the Haitian people. This one, no? Number one. It's my tribute, lest we forget. David M. Yes, I. Yeah, man.
Have up to now been no match for the big bar.
That all men can live with dignity. I have a dream this afternoon. When all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing with the Negroes in the spiritual of all. Free at last, thank God.
Wasn't there when he made the earth. Wasn't there when he parted the Red Sea. Wasn't there at Calvary when they said Jesus died for me. Wasn't there to hear Malcolm X or Rosa say no to the back of the bus. Didn't know Marcus get to join King when he marched for us. But I hope I'm there when the winds of change blow the walls down, and I can see clearly from New York to Cape town. And I have seen the pictures of man on the moon. I have seen the wall that fell and none too soon. Here standing at the door, won't you let me in? And all this time I waited in the castle of my skin. Don't tell me I'm misdirected or offend your sensibilities. Don't give me your education. Shows me the forest but not the trees. Don't insult my intelligence or pretend I am blind. Don't give me your history books if I can't read between the lines. Yes, I hoped I'd be there when the winds of change blow the walls down, and hands that now embrace me once held me to the ground. And I have seen the pictures of man on the moon. I have seen the wall that fell and none too soon. Never thought I'd live to see those winds of change fulfill the hope of those whose blood flows through my veins, whose blood flows through my veins.
Play this next one for me. Yes, we're still here. We're still here. Yep. Tonight, later on in the program, I'll be speaking to Empress Zadatu. Empress Zadatu is now in Uganda. So they are 8 hours ahead of us. And I've been trying for quite a while to get hold of Empress Zadatu. She's in Uganda. And everybody that goes to Uganda and come forward have been telling me that things are great in Uganda. Things are absolutely great. Well, this sister's gone there both to study and to sojourn. And she has even acquired land there. Yes, she has acquired land and doing great. She's in public health. She's also doing some studying and some exam. Now, we will work it out. I have to call her back at about 9 o'clock because they are 8 hours ahead of me. She'll be sleeping at this time. So about 9 o'clock would be about 5 o'clock in Uganda. So she'll be waking up at that time in order to accommodate us. I really appreciate that. So I'm planning to call her at 9 o'clock when I can have even an hour to reasoning with her. Uganda has become exceptional because when they passed a law in Parliament there condemning homosexuals, them don't want no homosexuals in them country. The World Bank and the West condemned them. The World Bank refused to give them them own money. And the West had some money for them. Them froze it. Yes. Certain loans that was in the pipeline, them don't get it. But Museveni, who is the president of Uganda, says, you're not going to muscle me. You're not going to tell me what to do. Imagine we pass law in our country so we don't want no homosexual. And you're talking about we can't pass law to criminalize them, send them to jail if they break the law. You're out of order. You're out of order. I'm telling the Americans them that. So, but from what I got to know from people on the ground, the country is doing better. The country is prospering. No loans from IMF, no loans from World Bank and all that. Them are the better. You know? And we see here in Mali, the IMF has offered to help Mali, and the president said, no, me no want your help because you can help me down. We can't manage. We will struggle on. So, you know, I've been talking to some people from that region, not just I get news like me, people from there. And you know what the people them say? They must have coup. Them military take over in Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and so on. Well, meta about doctors and lawyers and people, professional people, say them wish that they have a coup in Ghana. You need a coup in Kenya. You need a coup in Nigeria. In other words, if you have young militant youths now, whether in the army, who want change, they must take it over because this democracy now work well, and it a keep putting in people because the democracy is money. It's those who have money get power. So it's not the real people that get power. That's what not Jamaica too. If you don't have money, you can't get in. So the people now wish for a coup in many other African countries because they want liberation. Them severe prices, they are getting better prices for their natural products. Better prices. Look at one of the richest countries in Africa, Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, in Central Africa. And it's pure fighting and war. Them have minerals to them pool. So much minerals. Yet the country is suffering. All sorts of suffering. So you need people to take over the place and run it in the interest of the people. That's what's happening. You know? So, I could watch and see what's going on because there has to be an awakening. There has to be.
Old man, your race is run. You think it's over, it's only begun. Child is born who has to face the world you're leaving, a dangerous Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding are better than a war. People just laughing cause they've heard it before. Night chills in Plenty Town, cardboard hotels, they sleep on the ground. Hard choices, how to respond. Red or rosy with the dark and l'orange.
Yes, I. We're ready to play the Malcolm X now. Listen to what Malcolm said. This is 1960s, brothers and sisters. What him say about the Palestinian struggle. Say no, say no. Yesterday or today's struggle is around. Levan, engineer, rev up now.
Justice. It's a blistering battle for the most fundamental human rights that every living soul on this planet should inherit by birthright. It's an unyielding resistance against the oppressive, suffocating grip of occupation and the callous denial of the most basic human dignity. Just as the civil rights movement in the United States fought against the chains of racial discrimination, so too do the Palestinian people strive to shatter the chains of occupation and tyranny. Never forget, my friends, that the Palestinians, much like African Americans in the United States, have been subjected to a heart-wrenching history of suffering and torment. The birth of Israel in 1948 brought forth the mass expulsion and dispossession of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from their ancestral homes and land. This is a historic injustice that continues to haunt the lives of Palestinians to this very day. The situation in Palestine serves as a brutal reminder of the consequences of colonialism and the ruthless dispossession of indigenous people. It is an agonizing reminder that the fight for justice knows no borders, and we must stand united in solidarity with all oppressed peoples, whether they reside in the United States, South Africa, or anywhere around the world. Let's be unequivocally clear. Advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people is not synonymous with denying the rights and security of the Jewish people. The fight for justice in Palestine is not an assault on any particular group, but an unwavering stand against the policies of a Zionist state that has for far too long stripped Palestinians of their rights. We must remember that numerous Jewish voices also resound in the calls for justice and peace in Palestine, and their voices must not be silenced. In our relentless pursuit of justice for the Palestinian people, we must also acknowledge that it is in the best interest of the entire world to seek a just and enduring solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is a pursuit in the name of peace, stability, and the dignity of all mankind. But let me underscore this. The battle for justice in Palestine is not merely a political struggle, it's an elemental moral battle. It's the fight for the most basic human rights of a people who have suffered these injustices for far too long. It's the fight for the right to exist in peace and security, free from the ceaseless specter of violence and dispossession. If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. I implore every person of conscience, regardless of their origins or beliefs, to stand steadfast with the Palestinian people in their unwavering quest for justice by any means necessary. Let us unite in building a world where every soul can live in freedom and dignity, where the rights of every individual are not just respected, but celebrated. The struggle for justice in Palestine is a universal fight, a resonating echo of the battles waged by oppressed people across the globe. It's a battle we must champion, a torch we must carry, and a legacy we must honor. Thank you, and free Palestine.
Your race is run. You think it's over. It's only begun. Child is born who has to face the world you're leaving, a dangerous place. Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding are better than a war. People just laughing 'cause they've heard it before. Night chills in Plenty Town, cardboard hotels, they sleep on the ground. Hard choices, how to respond. Red or rosy with the dark and orange. Listen to the voices, so easy to ignore. Choruses of old folks scared to open the door. Living in the shadows, dying in the cold. In a city jungle, ain't no place to grow. Helpless, we'll never be, though justice is so hard to see. Kindness, yes, that same old song, but don't stop singing. There's so much strength in kindness. Listen to the voices trying to be free, trying to be free. Can we be the promise? Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding, better than a war, better than a war. People just laughing, 'cause they've heard it before. Listen to the voices trying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Listen to the voices crying to be free. Can we be the promise that we promised to be? Love and understanding, love and understanding.
For thine is thy kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever, amen. For thine is thy kingdom, the power and the glory.
Woo! Our Father must be happy wherever he is. You kids are just beautiful. Jesus, just come down and listen to these voices. Did you hear that? Shit!
Amen.
Wathinda thina wathinda bangasokufa safa saphenduka saphenduka nje bovu
Wathinda thina,
wemodo
wathinda
modo 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 bo
ubere chico 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 haremo haremo che le già ubere chico chico chico
ça moins doux sans m'en faire ou aller comme notre tour. Un petit ça, il est là, pour ça faire moi même pas te dire, ouais. Ça qu'a passé, oh, ça qui rive, qui ça m'en fait. On y qu'a chillé, oh, que ouais ça pas normal. Sans qu'à penser qu'ils ont mieux pas un on fait dans amis c'est ça, sous pas tes savons que ça. Oh, eh, eh. L'amitié chalet. Tout ça y a peur à compter, c'est pas la pluie pour mouiller.
Tout ça attend la vie.
Faut nous vivre puis tout ça, ou faire ça.
Faut nous vivre puis tout ça.
Sing it down. Malgré tout ça, moi pas cédé à y arriver. Moi toujours là, tiens moi c'est ça, si ou pas ça, vous que ça. C'est mon nom. C'est pas bon. Attention, dangereux, pas sérieux. Normalement, oui. Il pas fait, c'est pas bon. L'amitié sous nous là pour faire durer. L'amitié sous c'est pas pour changer. Allez. Greedy. You're too greedy. You're too greedy. Take you to Uncork on a date. All because I thought you were great. On the street side, me hear them say that you're planning to leave me. Glad to know that you're leaving. Because
yes, I. Minky. Yes, I. Minky, your song coming up now. Glad to know that you're leaving. Because you're getting very greedy. Hear your song now, Minky. But I feel laugh every time I hear it. All right, go ahead now, Mr. Music Man. Minky.
You're too greedy. You're too greedy. You're too greedy. Take you to Uncork on a date. All because I thought you were great.
the street side, me hear them say that you're planning to leave me. Glad to know that you're leaving, because you're getting greedy. I'm for the poor and needy. I'm glad you are leaving very soon. Seems like I got to buy a new broom. And a kiss stand up for me when I'm in my misery. She's not gonna leave me whether I'm in wants or needy. Right now, I'm glad to know that you're leaving. Following friends and getting greedy. I'm sticking with the poor, also the needy. The Almighty bless me going through. Seems like I got to buy a new broom. No matter try your backyard, or you will not come in my yard. You go on like you large, sometimes you're broad. But I can tell you, take a walk. Right now, I'm glad to know that you're leaving, because you're getting greedy. I'm sticking with the poor, also the needy. Anna Kay and Caroline stand for me. Right now, I'm thinking about who stand for Minky. Not for those who very kinky. I'm always just a thinking of the right things what we do.
Yes, yes, brother Minky. Yeah, man. So you're going to mix it up some more and get it ready. But it's a novel song. Yes, a novelty, you know. Yes. As I was mentioning earlier on, you know, I didn't want to bore you all with reading some of the gossip in the case. But just one lady who was involved in the case. They raided her house under the asset recovery agency. And she said, attached here too, and marked such and such, is a copy of an outstanding invoice for the sum of 14,000 such and such that I owe to the University Hospital of the West Indies for medical treatment that I received late last year. This case, like I said, was tried in 2015. This was in 2014. I am also expected to undergo further surgery in the near future, and this is expected to cost same as my last surgery, which was approximately $300,000. Now the police came and saw some money at the lady house, and they seized it. And all she showed them receipts said, look, it's borrow the money to pay for the surgery. And I'm now saving to give back the person who lent me some of the money. So the receipts here, see I'm owing the university this bill and that bill. And it's when the lady, when the matter got back to court, that the court had to say, no. The lady, she breezed with the police then when they came the morning. She showed them receipts, everything, and them still haul and pull her. Still carry her out. This is how them behave against people. You know. So I just mentioned that, beloved. There's a whole lot more, but we're going to deal with it as we go along. Yep. Nyanko, you ready? All right. If not, you can go ahead now. Pass it on.
Let the words of your mouth and works of your hands be unto the Most High. Cha. What your hands do, your own eyes have seen. So won't you judge your actions to make sure the results are clean? It's your own conscience that is gonna remind you that it's your heart and nobody else's that is gonna judge. So be not selfish in your doing. Pass it on. Help your brothers in their needs. Pass it on. Live for yourself, and you will live in vain. Live for others, and you will live again. In the kingdom of Jah, mankind shall reign. Pass it on. Come on and pass it on. My sister, pass it on. Brother, pass it on. What's in the darkness must be revealed tonight. We're not here to judge what's good from bad, but to do the things of the right. On a hot sunny day, under the shadows for rescue. But as the day grows old, I know the sun is gonna find you. Be not selfish in your doing. Pass it on. Help your brothers in their needs. Pass it on. Live for yourself, and you will live in vain. Live for others, and you will live again. In the kingdom of Jah, mankind shall reign. Pass it on. Pass it on. Come on and pass it on. My sister, pass it on. Your children, pass it on. Pass it on. Pass it on. You're gonna live in pass it on. 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 Let love and peace pass it on. Oh, pass it.
Yeah, man, pass it on. In the kingdom of Jah, man shall reign. Live for yourself, you live in vain. Live for others, you will live again. Nyanko, man of psychology. Want to say how we can get into people's mind to solve the problem. Yes, go ahead now, Nyanko. Midway the program.
Healings, greetings and blessings. Alright, this week's psychology segment is going to be a little bit different. We want to get into the topic of neuroplasticity. Now, neuroplasticity in a nutshell is basically how the brain interacts with the environment, whether the brain is learning something or it is responding to stimuli, experience, etc. Literally from the first couple sparks from in the womb till our last breath, neuroplasticity is literally taking place. So I had written a preliminary essay on neuroplasticity in relation to one of the courseworks that I was doing, and I'm going to share with you all a couple pieces of information that I had gathered, because this is something that I'm genuinely fascinated by in my own personal life, and I tend to call on these elements whenever I'm in conversation, and it comes up as to how some people can navigate through whether tough times through their own lives, or whether they're just going through a simple experience and they might have wanted a better way to go through it. Just to understand the human mind and how we see ourselves is just a fascinating perspective and a frame of reference for me overall. I like to do these little research pieces, even if it has nothing to do with the actual coursework that I'm actually doing at UCC when in my studies to become eventually a psychologist, right? So I call this one Harnessing Neuroplasticity, the Key to Lifelong Learning and Cognitive Enhancement, right? So neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to recognize and adapt throughout life, offers profound implications for human potential and well-being. Long believed that the brain's structure and function were relatively fixed after a critical period in early development, modern neuroscience has revealed the brain's ongoing capacity for change even into adulthood and old age. Now, basically what we have found, over the years in medicine, science, etc., what we found over the years is that the brain has a unique ability to form new pathways, especially when previously existing pathways were no longer present. The brain finds a way in order to connect from one part to another part, even if the so-called connective tissue was missing. It finds a way around that. It finds a way to cope and exist in the environment in these unique ways, and that is thanks to processes such as neuroplasticity. So let's get into it further. So understanding neuroplasticity not only sheds light on how we learn, remember, and recover from injury, but also opens doors to strategies for enhancing cognitive function at any age. So remember, neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to reorganize its structure, function, and connections in response to experience, learning, injury, or environmental changes. This phenomenon arises from the brain's cellular and molecular processes, including synaptic plasticity, neurogenesis, and changes in connectivity. Of course, these are various different terms that are basically thrown around as regular terminologies within the scientific and psychological spaces. But basically what it's saying there is that the basic function of the human mind as it goes through simple processes such as regulating body temperature to detecting other pieces of other elements or stimuli in the environment, to the expression or motor movement, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, however the brain and the body is communicating with the environment. That's basically what is broken down into some of the actions related to neuroplasticity and how the brain learns from some of those experiences as it goes through life, right? So some of the synaptic plasticity, right? So basically the neurons in our brains interact with each other synaptically, and the speed at which all that happens is pretty much lightning quick. So synaptic plasticity, the most studied form of neuroplasticity, involves the strengthening or weakening of synaptic connections between neurons in response to activity. This process underlies learning and memory formation and is mediated by neurotransmitters, receptors, and intracellular signaling pathways. So this is basically science's way of mimicking how the brain naturally makes connections in and of itself. So similarly to how when we see a yellow bus, for example, we might unconsciously or naturally call upon our frame of reference to what a bus may have looked like in the past, what the color yellow might have been represented by in the past, in order to make more sense of this yellow bus that is now presently in front of that particular subject, right? Going further, neurogenesis, the generation of new neurons, predominantly occurs in the hippocampus, a brain region crucial for learning and memory. While more prevalent during early development, neurogenesis persists throughout life, albeit at a reduced rate. Environmental enrichment, physical exercise, and certain interventions can promote neurogenesis. So what's basically saying there, right? Neurogenesis is basically how the brain forms new neurons. So what science has shown, and what I have personally seen as well, is that in our daily life, even right now, our brain has a natural, our body overall has a natural ability to reproduce certain cells, right? The regeneration of cells in our body is one of the ways that our body tends to live as long as we tend to live. And at the same time, the opposite is happening to some of the older cells in our system as well. So some cells are perishing and some cells are being regenerated or being created, right? So what I have seen, or what science has shown us, is that when you do things such as exercise or have a proper diet, different things like that, and live a healthier lifestyle, it promotes a faster rate of regeneration of those same cells. This is from your head top to your toe, right? But more importantly, it will significantly improve your body's natural ability to regenerate cells in the brain when you do exercise, for example, right? And your diet, of course. So, if you have a decent diet, plant-based, all of that, mixing with the exercise as well, then your brain and your body's natural ability to conduct neurogenesis becomes all the more optimal. All right. I hope my listeners are sticking with me on this. This is valuable information. So let's go further. Connectivity changes involve the formation, elimination, or modification of neuronal connections, shaping the brain's functional networks. So connectivity changes involve the formation, elimination, or modification of neuronal connections, shaping the brain's functional networks. Experience-dependent plasticity, such as learning a new skill or language, induces these structural alterations, facilitating adaptive behavior, right? Of course, now we're going to go on to enhancing the neuroplasticity. So given its significance for learning, recovery from injury, and cognitive function, enhancing neuroplasticity emerges as a compelling goal for individuals of all ages. Several strategies have been identified to promote neuroplasticity and optimize brain health. And of course, I'm going to give you a couple of those strategies right now. So they would include lifelong learning. So this is basically where you engage in intellectually stimulating activities such as reading, puzzles, learning new skills. All these activities foster neuroplasticity by challenging the brain and promoting the formation of new synaptic connections, right? So no matter at what age you are or where you are, if you have a high level of intellectually stimulating activity that is taking place, then it is promoting a positive level of regeneration of those cells that we need in order to live longer, learn faster, jump higher, and to just be optimal overall, right? The second tip is, of course, physical exercise. This cannot be stressed enough, right? So regular aerobic exercise enhances neuroplasticity by increasing the blood flow, stimulating the release of neurotrophic factors and promoting neurogenesis again. So both cardiovascular and resistance training have been shown to benefit brain health and cognitive function. So even jogging for 30 minutes a day has a significant impact versus not jogging for 30 minutes a day. You know what I mean? The small little changes that you could make could have significantly positive impacts on our bodies. And it's definitely something that some of my more sedentary listeners can maybe take some notes from, right? So the nutrition. So of course, a balanced diet rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and other nutrients supports brain function and plasticity. Certain dietary supplements such as curcumin or resveratrol have shown promise in enhancing neuroplasticity, although further research is needed. Well, for that one, I would say just make sure you eat it right. See me? If you grow your food, that is the best. Because if you buy the food these days, you're buying it versus growing it. I think we all would go with growing the food if I had a choice. You know what I mean? So as long as you eat it healthy, you put in the right things in your body, then you should get the right things out, right? Next is sleep. So remember, the different sleep cycles that the body goes through pretty much enhances our ability to memorize, function, etc. on a daily basis. So adequate sleep is essential for neuroplasticity as it facilitates memory consolidation, synaptic pruning, and the removal of toxins from the brain. It's like the brain's way of refreshing itself, flushing out the waste, sort of creating a brand new plate to experience the brand new day that is coming up, right? Prioritizing quality sleep hygiene can optimize brain function and promote cognitive resilience as well. You tend to be able to concentrate a lot longer when you have a more decent sleep schedule, as well, as I have seen, especially when it came down to exams a couple of weeks ago, where I could have definitely felt the difference in my brain's cognitive resilience. All right, just two more tips here before I draw on the conclusion. So, second to last one, mindfulness and meditation. This cannot be stressed enough. And then social engagement is the last tip. So, maintaining social connections and participating in meaningful social activities support brain health and plasticity by stimulating cognitive function, reducing stress, and providing emotional support. Well, basically, the social engagements that we take part in as humans from early ages onwards, that is one of the easiest ways for us to learn new information about ourselves and others, because different people are going through different experiences at different points in their lives as well. And when we meet at social engagements and gatherings, we're actually tapping into that person's own experience of the world. and the words they use, how they use them, and how they interact with us is this brand new experience in and of itself. And that is another way our brain generates these memories, and of course can establish some emotional connection with another person, and of course that could go a far away, right? So in conclusion, neuroplasticity represents a cornerstone of brain function, offering hope and opportunities for cognitive enhancement and rehabilitation across the entire human's lifespan. By understanding the mechanisms underlying neuroplasticity and adopting lifestyle practices that promote brain health, individuals can harness the brain's remarkable capacity for change and adaptation. Lifelong learning, physical activity, nutrition, sleep, mindfulness, and social engagement, all of these activities constitute essential pillars for optimizing neuroplasticity and nurturing cognitive well-being. So embracing these strategies empowers individuals to unlock their full cognitive potential and lead fulfilling, intellectually rich lives at any age. All right, and that would be the end of the essay. Thanks for having me.
Nice.
1, 2, 3.
This one's entitled Freedom, dedicated to the whole entire world. Coming from Una, Grams, Peter, Luce, and Mr. Mojo, Morgan Heritage. We're crying for freedom for all mankind. We don't care about color, racism is not our style. We're fighting for a better world for the young boys and girls. This is our contribution towards a better world. Somebody sing freedom for every black man, freedom for every white man, freedom for every Indian. 'Cause we believe someday here on earth every man will be free. Every man will be free. The world is going crazy, that's life in this time. We've got to make changes without destroying mankind. World unity, that's how it should be. Let's open our hearts and welcome tranquility. Somebody say freedom for every black man, freedom for every white man, freedom for every Indian. 'Cause we believe someday here on earth every man will be free. Every man will be free. What you say, Grandpa say?
We're going through too much changes just to find peace of mind. Ooh. If we could only be humble, find a way to love each other while believing in each other,
then every man will be free. Yeah, man. Every man will be free.
Riding on the wings of a dove was a message from above. Over the hills and valleys there's a stream of love out of our reach because of the way we chose to be. Can you see? We got so many souls in need. Indeed, there's so many ways to find a way to communicate about the facts of life. It's out there, so come and share this vibe with me. Under the umbrella of love, we keep it tight, aight?
We need positive people with positive ways. Every man working equal towards a brighter day. We need to have faith that all good things will come true. better days I pray for all for me and you. Everybody sing freedom for every black man. Freedom for every white man. Freedom for every Indian. 'Cause we believe someday here on earth every man will be free. Every man will be free. Every man will be free. Yeah. Every man will be free. Every man will be free. Yeah. Every man will be free.
Man, is a powerful song, a very strong song, but every time I play it, this part of the song troubled me. Freedom for every white man. What that freedom means, for that man to put on your neck and kill you the way him killed George Floyd. That's what it means. It's a freedom for every white man. You know? In other words, freedom to abuse us. You know, freedom to shut us down. Real powerful song, but that line, no, can't be part of that. Yes, thank you, Nyanko, for a powerful presentation. Like I said, though, when you get into legalities, a whole heap of thing were boring. But I have to mention this. There's an affidavit. Like I said, this is paper evidence, which came down from America. Now, this affidavit that came down from a man named M. Jared Lucero. I call him name because, you know, I suspect that these people are, you know, different persons in disguise. But this one came from M. Jared Lucero. And him said in his affidavit, I'm a special agent for the United States Department of State, Diplomatic Security Service, DSS. I'm currently assigned to the Miami and some other things. Now, what Mark tell you, the two brethren charged for ganja, now them care in America. And a one holy palabaloo, police and soldier go upon the people them house stop early morning, 4 o'clock one morning, you know, passport seized, money seized, title seized, bank account frozen, all sort of things. Now, when the case pan out, never ever got so far, the two men them get freed off of the ganja charge. But is the ganja charge them use for everything what them do? You know, the raid on people in house and everything from the ganja charge. So the ganja charge drop. Or not drop, but went to court. Like I said, there was some hanky-panky in the searching of the vehicle, and the court threw out the ganja charge. When the papers come down now, this paper have to do more with immigration. Market is the Proceeds of Crime Act. Him file it under, you know. And the Proceeds of Crime Act is the proceeds that you send down with remittances from ganja. When the affidavit come down, the strength of the affidavit is that there seem to have been some mix-up with regard to passport, identity, and things like that. not for the ganja. You know what I mean? So the affidavit where him send down now, one would expect that's a full up things about remittance and ganja and so on. It have to do with passport, and one of the virgin them identity was in doubt. So them hold on upon him. The other one was freed. Incidental, them two virgin them thing. The two virgin them still in America. This was not 2015. Man, them still live in America, so I don't know the details of how them work out and thing. But long and short, them still live in America. But I tell you now, when the papers come down, after them make this big raid, the main agent, special agent, Pim affidavit is talking more about passport and identity, not proceeds of crime. You know? So them switch it pan way. Switch the game pan us. In other words, them want to make sure them get something. And when them say everything has slipped from them draw back now and say immigration papers wasn't up to standard. Well, as you know, a lot of Jamaicans up there are round and papers are straight. Some this and that and, you know, but them must survive. Them know how to survive up there. And some of them cross the border, some of them papers not straight, so all sort of things. But why it become a problem is because it shows that the system, when the system won't get at you, so even if a toenail a give problem, that becomes the issue. When them main issue fail, can't hold upon the main issue. But the whole main issue is ganja and the proceeds of crime. You are committing a crime, and that the proceeds from the crime is what? Buy a house. Now, when that go through the window now, them start hold on and say, one of the man in custody because in papers never straight. Well, I presume the man lawyer must have done something because it's from 2015 and him still live up there. So clearly, the man lawyer, I work it out. But it does show the pressure that them keep us under down here. Pressure them keep you under down here. And I'm certain there have been many, many more instances of this nature. So my advice is people down here, brethren up there, please do, because every little thing down there now, every little thing, some people afraid to go to the bank. Because every little thing now you're under suspicion. All the suspicion. I know people, a large money to your account you get, you have to show all sort of papers, show the system now, you know. If I lodge certain money, I have to go down to the bank with the papers, show them how I earn the money. So my whole office might as well carry it, go down there. The thing dangerous, the thing dangerous. But it's on the causes, on the voting people which now oppress us. And when them now oppress us, them is house slave to the oppressors from North America. Them is house slaves, brethren. Them don't think. Them don't disagree with nothing. Them just hook, line, and sinker. Wow, it's really bad. Africa now, we have to touch on Africa. Elections in South Africa going on. I think it's yesterday and today, or today and tomorrow. They haven't elections in South Africa to elect a new president, or go along with the old one. The ANC going to win, but them not as strong as like 30 years ago. Because 30 years ago, exactly, 1994, that Mandela walked out of captivity. Yes, that's 30 years ago. At that time, the ANC was at its zenith. Yes, doing very well. Nobody could have beat them. But now, other parties have developed. Other parties have got stronger, including the Economic Freedom Party. It's led by Malema and so on. That is certainly going to take away some of the votes from them. Now, I must point out to you that South Africa have a more practical system. In that, you see, with our system, it's a matter of you run and whoever wins. So it sits in Parliament. It is possible that you can be a minority government, when I say that, but you win more seats. You actually get less votes than the other side, but you win more seats and you form the government in Parliament. With their system, it's proportional representation. That means if you get 10% of the vote, you get 10% of parliamentary representation. So if one side get 50% of the vote, all right, upon the prime minister and thing, but it also provides that if you even get 5% of the vote, you get 5% of the seats in parliament. So that's their system, which I think is a more equitable system. It guarantees now that you'll get a say in parliament. You might just have a few seats, but at least if you get 10% of the votes, you should have some say somewhere. So that is the system that they have there. We don't have that system here. You know, I think what I'm call our system is first past the post system. So you can actually, and it has happened, whereby you get less percent overall, less percent of the vote, but you actually get more seats. That has happened before in Jamaica. Right. So that's what's going on there in South Africa. Sudan, problem same way. Wow. Me is like a recurring decimal now. Week after week, there seems to be no end in sight. And Sudan is probably the biggest crisis, certainly the biggest crisis on the continent. But the problem there in Sudan is even bigger than Gaza. Yeah. Because we talk about people, millions talking about, you know, and the rapid support forces fighting against the government forces. The rapid support. You see, what problem is the goodness now? Sudan have a lot of gold, you know. Sudan has a lot of gold. And the rapid support forces is mining that gold and selling it abroad and get weapons. So, it's few people can talk to them. No. You hear about a set of people, them call it Junja weed. Yes. The Junja weed is them come back up in the names, rapid support forces, you know, Junja weed. They had brutalized and massacred a lot of black Sudanese. Yes, the Negroid Sudanese who follow tradition, African religion. Them no follow Muslim. So the Muslim now, they felt that they had a right to conquer us. I say us because the blacker Negroid people in Sudan is under oppression, brothers and sisters. I know we look at Gaza and Palestine and things, but this now is directly affect our black people. In that whole region between Sudan, Chad, and so on, in that whole region, people used to live fully following the African way of life. And then bush, peaceful, raise them animal, plant them crop, live, have a little school in a village, send them children to school, peaceful, no problem, no problem. But since this whole thing come about now, wow, what people are suffering, millions have been walking miles. They've gone over into Chad, but them have nothing to eat. It's United Nations give them some flour and wheat every now and then and so on. But things hard on our own people. And of course the Israelis are involved. You know? Yes, the same Israelis, the butchers of the Middle East, the Israelis. Them have their hand in Sudan also. I would not doubt that they are selling weapons to the fighters. And I wouldn't doubt that they are kind of make money, you know, and so on. But Sudan has a lot of gold, brothers and sisters, from long time until now. Now, let's go down to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has now pegged its currency, its money, on gold. No, because Zimbabwe have a lot of gold, you know. Zimbabwe does have a lot of gold. But it's being shipped out to the country, not through the governmental means. It's being tricked out of the country. I don't know how this pegging their money on gold now. I would have loved to see it work, you know. Mark you. Anything from the dollar, I don't want you to peg your money to the dollar, the US dollar. No. So Africa is searching for how them can stabilize their economy. Not on the yen or the yuan or the, not on the Chinese money, not on the Japanese money, not on the US dollars and all that. All of these countries now in Africa are trying to peg their money different. Now, I don't know when you peg your money on gold, I don't really know how it's going to work in this instance. Is it that you're going to buy gold and store it? You know, when you peg your money on gold, how does it work? You know, no, Zimbabwe has changed its currency so much, devalued so much, and still have it hard. Worse now, they are going through a drought. Zimbabwe going through a drought, which means that enough of the crops have failed. Wheat and corn, some of these stable, important crops, what people call full belly crops, is not reaped, you know, never come this year. So that exacerbate things on the country. It's a problem now, you know. So food aid has to be going in. Well, you talk about Africa's independence, but them depend so much upon food from other countries. And every time I see a bag drop and mark made in USA, I feel grief. Grief. I have so much land in Africa. So much land. You know? The ancient fathers knew how to even grow things in the desert. Yes, because we see enough drawings, you know, on the walls of the pyramids, which show that there was a fertile life in the desert, brothers and sisters, in the desert. So how come we drop to a level now where we have to depend from corn from America? Wow. Well, we say people like Ruto. Ruto is the president of Kenya. Well, him a press along with sending 1,000 troops to Haiti. Him gone to America now, gone get him applaud. Getting his applaud. Really sad, really sad. We have a problem in Haiti, don't pretend around that. But further firepower, further killing, not going to solve the problem. Not going to solve. So, we're hoping things can change in Africa, but, you know, we go along. Chad recently had the election. Dube, the man that was there before, he won. So he formalized it now. So what with some of these leaders, them take power, like he did in Chad, take power, and then when certain people come down upon him now to say, well, legitimize your status, they run go and them use strong arm and them win the election, and them can say, I've now legitimized my status. So, you know, what Chad have it hard in terms of the amount of refugees that have gone over from Sudan. Yes, it don't look pretty at all. Because Chad has struggled by itself. Endless problems in Chad for feeding people. And now, so much more Sudanese gone over, boy. Really rough. But it's our home, and, you know, our ancient fathers show them how to solve it, so they can certainly solve it. You had I don't know, one moment I read that famine in Ethiopia, famine. Next moment I read that flooding in Ethiopia, flooding. So, and I knew they had flooding because they had a cyclone over that area recently. So I certainly knew what the flooding. But the famine still exists. It could be that you have certain parts of the country on a famine. But, you know, Eritrea solved its water problem with mini dams. Eritrea built quite a lot of mini dams. You know, the Cubans had come to Jamaica and they built mini dams, you remember it? And this helped a lot in storing water, so that when there's drought and there's times when there's no water, these dams come in very handy, very handy. But we just dropped the ball because down to the equipment to build the dams, the Cubans leave. Never care about the equipment and left them here. And Jamaica never take it up and start to build dams themselves. You know, lazy set of people, lazy. Because if a man come from all the way from Cuba, bring him equipment, build dams for you, and when I leave him, leave the equipment, and you don't build no more dams. Foolishness, foolishness. Anyway, make a fight on now. Let us fight on. Come on.
Let's spell it.
Z.
For his wallet, them say them taught him a draw gun. Party one shot, they killed him for fun. And so it go, for how long me never know. These things are still a go so. Them a gun down, I'm a do. I am.
Mama, sorry for your sorrow. Them never plan for question tomorrow. Beat Rodney King and kill Stephen Biko. Now them a gone down and ma do the yalo. Mamma lo siento por tu tristeza. Nunca pensaron preguntarle después. Golpearon a Rodney King, mataron a Biko. Ahora desesperaron a Madu Diallo.
It's been 400 years, and our fortune has never changed. Oh God, they keep killing us for gain. Clothed in uniforms of brutality, protected by established formality. It was 4 against 1. Them open fire until their barrels were done. Them was in a killing mode. 2 of them stopped to reload. Another mother must hold her head and cry, 'cause her son had been gunned down in the street and died. Oh mama, me sorry for your sorrow. You know them never planned to Christian him tomorrow.
Golpearon a Rodney King, mataron a Biko. Ahora desesperaron a Madu Diallo. Oh mama, sorry for your sorrow. Them never plan for question tomorrow. Beat Rodney King and kill Stephen Biko. Ahora desesperaron a Madu Diallo.
The laws of conduct, you know they did breach, but the courts of injustice found them not guilty on 24 counts each. And so it go, but me never know how much longer these things are go so. Them are gone down, I'm a do.
Oh mamá, lo siento por tu tristeza. Nunca pensaron preguntarle después.
Yes, greetings. Empress Zardato on the line. Yes. You want to talk again? Greetings. A little louder.
Greetings.
All right. Nice. You have been I should put it now. You are in demand. You know.
Oh.
Not very often we get a chance to speak to somebody in Uganda. So you have been strongly in demand. Now, you personally, you want to introduce yourself to us?
Okay.
Apart
my
from
name is
of a powerful name like Empress Zaditu, she was she was actually the empress on the throne in Ethiopia before His Majesty, isn't that so?
That is correct.
Yes. But please introduce yourself to radio audience in Jamaica listening now.
Well, greetings, first of all,
yes,
to one and all.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings to each and every one. Yes. Giving thanks unto the Most High for the opportunity. Give thanks, my brother.
Yes.
I'm Empress Zaditu. I am a specialist practitioner that worked in the UK for a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
My parentage is, my background is Jamaica. My mother have come from up in St. Mary's side, and my father come from Trenchtown there in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very pleased to be here speaking to the IDEM.
Yes.
I work for the National Health Service. So over the years, I've gathered a range of experiences seeing patients from diagnosis with a number of different problems and diseases and so forth. At the moment, I am here in Africa, on the motherland, by the grace of the Most High, in Uganda, guided here by the ancestral energies. And I've been here a number of times, but the past 6 months I've been here in Kampala.
Yes. Nice. You're doing some studying at the moment.
Yes, obviously when you move to the continent, we need to learn about our ancient traditional ways of being and cultural practices. So I found it necessary to study public health. As you know, Haile Selassie himself spoke highly of the need for public health within the country of Ethiopia. And I can see quite clearly why this is the case. Because public health is the study of the environment. And, being here and studying this topic, I've seen how we as human beings have polluted and contaminated the planet so that it is in the state it is today. So the study of public health here in Uganda has been really eye-opening, looking at the terrain, looking at the environment, the plants, the oceans, the earth, the air, and so forth, and how we as human beings, how we treat Mother Earth. So, yeah, it's been very enlightening.
I guess, and that, as you say, how we treat Mother Earth, you must be seeing it on a large scale in Zimbabwe.
In Uganda?
I mean,
yes,
not Zimbabwe. Sorry, Uganda. Yes. Yes.
Yes, I've seen so many factors that influence the way the earth is being treated in terms of the traffic. Here in Kampala, the traffic here is so huge. There's a lot of motorbikes, them call them border. This is the quick mode of border. Only a motorbike there.
Yes.
You find a lot of the African countries, not just here in Uganda, but you find across a lot of the African countries that there's a huge importation of these motor vehicles that are very quick to get you from A to B. Here in Kampala, for example, the traffic is immense, and if you need to get somewhere in a hurry, being in a car is very cumbersome, time-consuming, hours to get just from A to B because the road's small. A lot of the roads them need developing, there's a lot of potholes and so forth. So you find the road transport system is not big enough to cope with the demand for traffic, because a lot of the cities in Africa are developing. There's buildings, there's enterprise, there's commerce taking place, a lot of markets and so forth. So the border, the bikes, there's hundreds of them on the road, morning time, evening time, but they get you very quickly from A to B. So that is one of the main mode of transport here in Africa, particularly here in Uganda.
Wow. As you mentioned, transport, we hear on the news over here that Zimbabwe, I don't know if the building or the assembling or what, motor cars, they have a serious car industry in Uganda at the moment.
Yes, Uganda is one of the 10 most, we would call it, enterprising countries on the continent. The people here are young, extremely articulate, very young generation of ones who they go to school, they go to universities, they produce doctors. When you look at them young, like, and they're doctors and have PhDs. They spend a lot of time and money studying And from that perspective, you get a lot of business and so forth. So yes, enterprising, industrious. Uganda is one of the first countries to be producing its own means of transport. Museveni, the president of Uganda, is very nationalistic and looking into taking away the need to depend on other economies, being self-sustainable and utilizing our own resources to develop our own needs. So yes, in terms of car development, they are manufacturing cars, have an assembly line, and are looking to develop that industry further. Apart from that, they're also working with Tanzania to set up one of the first and largest crude oil lines that is currently in constructive phase. But obviously, due to lack of resources, these things take time. But with leaders like Museveni, the dependency on the West is something that he's trying to disassociate the country from, so that we can have more sustainable development and be self-reliant, as Marcus Garvey would say. So yeah, give thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Isn't Uganda landlocked? It's a landlocked country?
Yes, it's not near the ocean. Obviously, if you need things to come in, we need to send them to other countries such as Tanzania, Kenya, and so forth. But Uganda has a lot of water bodies, a whole heap of water, fresh. I think it has one of the largest freshwater lakes in the world, up in the Great Lakes region near where they call Victoria. Now, I like to refer to our original traditional names, Lake Nalobali.
So the African name for Victoria is...
That is the Nalobali.
Nalobali.
Yes.
I like that.
Yes. So we have a lot of work to do when we come to the continent in rephrasing and renaming our traditional names of places and so forth,
Yes.
You find, because of colonialism, you're driving down the road and you see Prince Albert Road and Queen Mary this and, so it's one of my passions to look at traditional African heritage before the onset of colonialism. So yes, Lake Nalobali is a powerful freshwater lake here in Uganda. But yes, it is a landlocked region, to answer your question.
Right. And they export and import a lot through the ports in Tanzania.
Yes, and other ports such as Kenya and so forth. At the moment, I'm trying to engage in importing certain things here to Uganda. And yes, it will be going through certain ports. It's difficult, particularly if you're in certain parts of the world, to get things here directly via the shipping mode. So yes, it is, and it's quite expensive. So fine, if you come to certain countries and set up an NGO or something similar business, then you can get recourse, help, assistance, and so forth to assist with shipping. But the ports of entry, yes, are a distance away.
Right. And like I said now, Tanzania and Uganda seem to be working together so that because Uganda has a lot of natural resources.
That's correct. I mean, we have oil, fruits and vegetables galore. It is flushy. know,
Yes.
a lot of fruits and so forth that is there in Jamaica is here. Green banana, pineapple, yam, sweet potato, all of them are here. You know, in fact, the people them of Uganda are very much like Jamaicans. Same temperament, very same kind of temperament. Yeah. Although here in Africa, they are, I would say, a bit more humble in nature and expression. I think we're more fiery in Jamaica, for real. But
yes, very fiery.
But here in Uganda, the people have grace. They're humble, hardworking, very embracing of their own cultural heritage. Although I hasten to add, you know, the evidence of colonialism is still here in the language. Obviously, with this speech of English is paramount here.
English is
the names of the people. You know,
English is a predominant language.
Very predominant language. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of different traditional tongues, and you find the older generation will not have been able to speak English. They speak Luganda or Swahili, and some myriad of local tongues and dialects are here. But amongst the young, English is predominant. And colonially, I'm annoyed to find that the names of the people, they would have, if you ask someone their name, they will tell you their name, Richard Kayunga, Sarah Balangi. So if you ask them, but you don't name Sarah, or you fi name Sarah, or you fi name George. Oh, you feed them, you know?
Yes.
So colonialism has made it that they adopt English names first and foremost, and then the African name after. So again, there's a lot of work that we need to do because traditional African heritage before colonialism, you know? It's a serious thing. So, yeah.
To you're in public health, they use a lot of traditional medicine there?
There is a lot of traditional medicine because obviously that was and is and always shall be. But due to the advent of colonialism and the development and technologies, one's leaving Uganda and other countries and going to the Western universities and areas of study, coming back with these knowledges. Western medication is sort of, particularly in the town area where I am, is very prevalent. You have a lot of pharmacies, you have a lot of chemists and different clinics. Healthcare has to be paid for here, so there's a lot of private clinics and so forth. So yes, your paracetamols and your so forth are here, but not as much as I would find in the UK or in the West. Certain things that having worked in the West, I used to. When I go to the pharmacy, for example, and ask of them, they don't have them. Or they don't know of them. But certainly this is a growing industry, and you know, there's a lot of doctorates, a lot of education seems to be extremely important here. You know, they will save monies and send their youths to university, to school. They don't waste time, they don't joke. And they're studying hard to get that qualification. But yeah, in terms of Western medicine, it's here. You know, you can get your scans, your x-rays and so forth. But again, it's dependent upon money. Traditional medicine is something that I'm looking into because, again, traditional African heritage before colonialism. So there's a lot of use of bush, herbs, spices, and so forth, as well as other traditional practices that are used in the healing process of the nation.
What's the population like?
The population, the last overall, they just conducted a census. Actually, wow, what an experience! Because they had to send out over 100,000 personnel to go house to house. You know, you can imagine it's such a huge undertaking. But the last count before, because this census has not been completed as yet, but there was over 66 million people here. So I'm now awaiting to hear what the outcome of this latest census will be. And, you know, and I looked at the census document because everything that's done here is a replication of what is done in the West. The legal system is a replication of what is in the West. You know, so the questions that formulate the census itself is very in-depth, asking about means of earnings, how much people live in the house, etc. Very, very time-consuming document. I think they've even had to extend the time to collate and gather the data. So, yeah, I await to see what the latest figure is as to the population. But Kampala is highly populated. Uganda is very, very active. Nighttime is when the place come live. You know? So.
Yes, absolutely. Now, where you live is also like a hill up in the mountain, near the mountains also?
Well, where I have been sent by ancestors is an area known as Kangulumira. It is in an area known as the Buganda district, which is overseen by the king of Buganda. Yeah, I'm trying to seek an audience with this king, but he's ruling alongside the president within the different traditional practices. He is owner of the land that I am currently resident in. It is near mountainous region, but there is more mountainous region from where I am. The land is flushy. It's very fruitful and fertile, and has a number of animals within the area, monkey and so forth, down in the forest, which is around, in and around the area that I'm living. It's also surrounded by waterfalls. There's a lot of water in Uganda. And there's an area called Kalagala Falls, for example, where the power of the water, the elements, is so tranquil to see and behold. So it's truly a blessed land, the land of Africa, the land of our forefathers.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, the way you have described it. So I presume you planted some planting and so on later on.
Oh, listen, Bridget, I become a farmist, if there's such a word, because coming from such a place like the UK, Europe, where, you know, we living in boxes and so forth, we don't really have much outside liberty and planting and so forth, even when we have allotments. I'm now in a plush land space where there's banana. We've just planted a whole range of pineapples without pesticides. So we've now been granted a license as a organic farmer. The pineapples in Uganda, by the way, particularly up in the area where I'm living, are one of the sweetest pineapples produced in the world. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plant a lot of cassava, herbs and vegetables, tomato and them things. But the yam is a slightly different species of yam. Beautiful taste. It's a cross between yam and chocho. Not chocho. Yeah, it's a different species of yam, and the green banana, them, you have many different types of banana. There's plantain here, lime, lemon, orange, mango, sugar cane. So all these things are currently growing on the land that I have there in Kangula Mirror, which is blessed.
Sound very fertile.
It's very fertile, brethren, and you know the wildlife, the birds, the abundance of birds. In the morning, there's hundreds of little birds, different colors. Some yellow birds are so pretty to behold. Blue birds, wow.
All of that there is in Uganda. Like I said.
Yes.
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 And you said because Africa now has the largest amount of young people studying.
Yes. In Uganda, I have noticed that a lot of the population are in between the ages of 20 to 60. There's a huge population within that range. And, you know, they're very educated, they're extremely articulate, and very industrious.
Within that age group, that's your working force.
Yes, that, you know, and but generally, in Uganda, the younger population is more prominent here. So, you do find a lot of activities taking place in terms of technology, very creative, business-minded ones that they don't sit around. And, you know, coming from the West where you have government provision like the National Health Service and Social Security and so forth. It's amazing to see how people manage to forge out a living. Likewise, there in Jamaica, without these handouts from government, you know? Yeah. Even at the moment where I'm staying, I'm in Kampala at the moment because I'm working and studying in the University of Kampala. As part of the studies there that I'm doing there in public health, but I'm also teaching as well. And, you know, there's a lot of students here from all over Africa, you know, from Sudan, Somalia, Kenya. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm finding myself in a mix of other students from across Mama Africa itself, which is a learning experience like that I've never experienced before. To be in this mix, to learn and see how we dress, eat, speak, how our mannerisms and so forth. So
yes, with so much water around, you don't have a electricity problem, do you? You know, you get abundance.
There is an there is an electricity problem, and I think the government is trying to address this very issue. There's a water coming through the taps, obviously through the government provisional services, but a lot of people in the rural settings, for example, will use the rhino water tanks to collect rainwater, the harvest water in that sense. But here in the town, there's water that is being piped through from that provided by the government. Again, learning from public health, there is a risk of pollution to the water. Typhoid and other illnesses is very serious. There's a lot of ones that have repatriated from, the West to Africa, that being unaware of these different types of diseases that affect the air, the soil, and the water. We don't know how to deal with them, because up to 2-3 days ago, a Rasta brethren who've been to Ghana, in and out of Ghana, he died yesterday of typhoid. So, the treatment of the water here, they use different chemicals to clean that water that is coming in through the taps, as I'm beginning to understand. But yes, water is readily available. Obviously, in the more rural setting, you don't have that running water system. You have collections of water from rain, from the guttering on the roof, setting of the water tank underneath it, and collect water in that manner, and other options. But again, the different and the myriad of insects and plant life, soil produced infections that I wasn't aware of until now. We need to be taking great caution when we come to the West, to boil the water, etc., before we drink it, and them type of way there.
Okay.
Boil it, cool it. You understand?
Yes.
Boil it, cool it, and then drink it, rather than just drink. Because, as I say, the brethren is a Jamaican, and several ones have come to the continent and contracted various disease states that don't even exist there in Jamaica and in the West, like UK. So typhoid is a disease that is transferred fecal orally. So, one's preparing food may pass the disease on to someone, and you unknowingly eat food. Next thing you know, you contract this disease, if which not treated quickly, can lead to
serious harm.
Yeah.
It is said that the market, we have our coronation market here and so on. It is said that the market is a good measuring rod to know the progress of a country. Market life there is hectic.
Brethren, the market life, it's same way just like in Coronation Market there. On a larger scale.
Yeah.
Every town you go, there are markets. The market woman, them are there selling their wares, fruits, vegetables, and so forth, just like in a Coronation Market there.
Yes.
So yes, it's a highly developed industrial way of making money amongst poor people. I wouldn't even class them as poor people. It's a natural way of life, because if you produce tomatoes, onions, and so forth, you go to the market and you exchange it for goods, which is a normal market process. The market on a higher scale, on an international level, Uganda and other African countries are importing and exporting food. Here in Uganda, for example, they produce a lot of coffee and are one of the world's largest exporters of coffee. But you find a lot of countries on the continent here produce goods, but through the structural adjustment programs that were set about by the West, that created for themselves favorable foreign exchange market rates. You find countries that were producing rice, like Kenya and so on, are now having to import that very same produce themselves from other countries. Why? Because the debt repayments make it that the government them can't even afford to provide health care infrastructure and those types of things for their very own countries due to these debts. So this is something that I've now come to learn, having done the public health. This is why we are in the condition that we are in today, because a lot of our African countries are servicing debts to these Western multi-glomerate organizations and governments.
So you find the country earn a lot of money, make a lot of money, but they are paying off debts. And a lot of these debts are some immoral debts.
Yes, because the structural adjustment programs allowed a lot of our African countries to borrow money to set up industries, to set up infrastructures and so forth. But those borrowing had criteria attached to them.
Yes.
If you borrowed money, for example, then you needed to make cuts to your own government spending. This is for them to make sure that them are going to get back their money. When a government used to provide free education and free health care, it was mandated that no, people must pay for them education, people must pay for them health care, because what? You have to pay us back your debt. So over the years, these structural adjustment programs have caused our very own economies to be unable to focus on our own needs in our own countries. Hence, the reason why our healthcare system does not exist. It's fragmented. Infrastructure is very poor. There's a lot of private entities charging money, and people have to pay for healthcare, and people are paying for send them children to school. These are things that people like Kwame Nkrumah and other leaders back in 60, 70, 80 years ago was advocating. You know, these things was naturally free. It's a serious issue.
Some years ago, Uganda and Tanzania went to war. You see any scars of that war?
No, history is something that I need to look into in greater detail, to be honest, but I don't see any evidence of any international conflict in that manner. I mean, Museveni and Tanzanian governments are currently working together to develop pipeline, you know, which will bring greater prosperity to both countries. You understand?
Yes.
Yeah, it will create jobs. It will enable oil industries to develop.
Yes.
You know, it will be able to develop the infrastructures of both countries. So in terms of conflicts, international, intra-Africa conflicts, this is not something that I'm seeing here. Again, it's not something that I've looked for, so I will actually investigate that.
Uganda also have a lot of natural gas.
Yes.
Which I presume they'll export also.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of natural resources, and Museveni speaks of this all the time and talks about, you know, making use of Uganda's own resources and stop depending on the West. In fact, he don't skin up to tell the West themselves to stop
harassing
trying
people.
You understand? So but there's a lot of natural resources. I mean, recently Uganda was found to have a great gold reserve, which you know, the news has gone quiet on that, this recent discovery, which is not so. But there was a huge area found to have pure gold located within it, which would mean Uganda would transfer immediately up the list to become one of the market economies. But I've yet to hear how that is going to transpire, because here in Uganda as well, I must add that there is a large international community of peoples here in particular, the Chinese.
You have a lot of Jamaicans?
There's Jamaicans here. Don't get me wrong, there's Jamaicans. I've yet to see a large community. I am actually a member of a group where which has been set up specifically for Jamaicans here in Uganda, to look at the challenges that we face here in terms of residency and other issues. But as I was alluding to, there's a lot of Chinese here, Chinese industry, Chinese, presence on the continent. As I said, there's a lot of challenges faced here in terms of getting residency and so forth, having to pay for visa. I mean, with a Jamaican passport, you don't need a visa here in Uganda, which is similar across several other African states. You don't require a visa. However, after 90 days, which you're allocated, you then have to go and renew that. Currently, because I am studying, I've been given a 12-month visa. So there's different ways to overcome it, but there are challenges to be faced because you're still seen as a foreigner, as it were. So the work that,
Yes.
So, one of the works that we need to do is to agitate the government to, right of return,
the right
discussions
of return.
and so forth.
Yes,
we need to have that discussion and change the narrative because I am an African. You understand? Wherever I am in the world.
Yes.
So we need governments to recognize that and give I favorable entry without restriction. I mean, Uganda also hosts a large refugee community. They have taken in a lot of Kenyans and other refugees. And refugees are...
Sudanese also? They have taken a lot of Sudanese?
Yes, there's a lot of refugees here. In fact, I want to go and visit a refugee camp that I hear is not far from where I am here in Kampala. But what Museveni and the government of Uganda has done is to make refugees take part in the community. They're given land and so forth, rather than just... Yes. So they are treated with respect and assisted rather than just aided with food, clothes, and shelter. They will be given a small plot of land that they can grow food and therefore not only be able to look after themselves but contribute to the economy as a whole.
Okay, beautiful.
You get me?
Jamaica should take a lesson from that. Because when the Haitians come here, we lock them up. Either we lock them up or send them back. We treat the Haitians very bad, Very bad, Jamaican. Yeah. So they should hear something like this. Food is given to them. Land is given to them so that,
Yes. So, it's a good system. So I was planning even to speak to Museveni myself to inquire if, I'm not here as a refugee, but same way like how you can give them that kind of recognition, you need to give I recognition in them manner. So, because we need land, I shouldn't have to buy land. We need an inheritance to leave to our generation. And plan for the future.
Yes. What's the Rasta population like?
There's glad you asked that question. The Nyabinji originated here in Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania. The whole of that region was known as Nyabinghi. Yeah. And if you look back in history, Nyabinghi made its way from Africa to Jamaica. The death to oppression, because Queen Nyabinghi and Queen Musumana, don't know if I pronounce it correctly, but
they came from there.
Queen Nyabinghi originated from the province of Rwanda and Uganda before the borders was put up by the colonialists. It was one place. And Nyabinghi fought heavily against the British and the Germans when they came to colonialize our peoples. Yeah. So this is where the term Nyabinghi originates. If you listen to some of the traditional music here in Uganda, if you think of Jamaica, you're there. It's like reggae beat, Poco, Mania beat. It's like, what? Yeah, so there's a huge community of Rasta here in Uganda. I made it my duty, obviously, to go find the Rasta communities. You know, obviously they may not express themselves same way like how Rasta express themselves there in Jamaica or across the planet, but traditionally, you know, the growing of the hair and the natural living, I can align it to the Essenes way of life, where one's lived off the land and shared as communities. Yeah, we fasted and prayed, and we put great emphasis on caring for nature, because nature cared for I and I. Produce of food, clothes, and shelter was all given from the land. So the land was held in high esteem. There's a lot of drumming here in amongst the Rastafari community. They keep something called drum circles, which is a ceremonious ritual that's kept quite frequently, where ones in the village gather together with their drums. They have a lead drummer, and each one within this, they create a circle, man, woman, children, and everyone has their drum, and everyone has an opportunity to express themselves through the drum. So, you know, there's so much here to learn, my brother, but yeah, I give thanks. The Rastafari community is requiring strength from the premise of I and I as Rastafari now. You know, and probably not expressing themselves in the same manner. So in that way, they need strength,
strength and guidance.
Yes, strength, guidance, and so forth.
But tell me now, the legend of Nyabinghi, is it well known in Uganda?
It is well known, but you find the younger generation, they are not so traditional. They're wearing European clothes, for example. You know, there's no cultural expression as I would expect here as the elder generation. So certain knowledge systems I and I have to remind them of. What I and I doing here is based on reciprocal learning, because I am the one that has lost my tongue, my culture, my way of life. So I need to regain that from being here. Likewise, there's a lot that I and I can teach here. The one thing that we mustn't do is feel like we are superior, because we certainly are not. We are one. Tuku pamoja is a term meaning we are one. Tuku pamoja.
Tell me, so we over here, a big thing was made there when the parliament was passing laws to limit the homosexuals, you know.
Yes.
How is that problem there?
Well, it's not really a problem, because I and I, African people, we are just expressing what is natural.
Mm-hmm.
Father, the human body, as Museveni says,
Mm-hmm.
the mouth was made to put food, not to engage in sexual activity. One.
Mm-hmm.
Two, it's only natural for female and male to cohabit together in order to reproduce. Yeah?
Children.
A male and a male cannot reproduce. A female and a female cannot reproduce. So these things are unnatural to our liberty. So Museveni is very
practical
and in the way he express the needs of our naturalness to be preserved and express to the West, you live your way of life, but don't try and come and force it upon us.
Yes.
And so in terms of sanctions and those things, we are
it doesn't hurt. It sounds like it doesn't hurt y'all.
It's not, no, because, he makes reference to the huge resources that Uganda has in terms of food and agriculture and natural resources of gold, oil, gases, and so forth. So it's just for I and I as an African people to recognize that and pool our resources together and become one Africa with one aim and one destiny.
Definitely.
Have our own monetary funds, provide our own banking.
That all of that is so needed. You see, because when they took that step in Uganda, people like the World Bank decided that them was going to cut off Uganda. And a few other IMF and all those people didn't want to have...
Yes.
America itself came out and said that
yes.
So they were hoping to punish Uganda for taking that stance.
Well, even now, I mean, there was a recent committee meeting in and amongst the rulers of the world, they and them that dwell therein, of these people like the United Nations. I think this one was in particular the government of the UK, where they spoke heavily about this human rights activity that is being perpetrated by Uganda. And they're looking into, as we speak, ways in which to curtail and stop certain funding. They're discussing what money they might give where and what implications are going to be for them to stop these funds and so on. So it's an ongoing issue. But this is where I and I need to, as Africans, to call together.
Need to unite
because these some of these, exactly, because the United Nations is one of the main orchestrations of this structural adjustment program that I've just highlighted, that are taking money back in payments from loans due to loans, which are causing this cycle of deprivation within our own communities. So, yes, it's going to have implications, but at the moment here, I don't see any evidence of any harm.
Any harm and so on.
Deprivation due to that.
Right. Well, you have certainly brought us up to date. You have certainly, make us feel that we all should be in Uganda. You have this, you have this song that says we should be in Angola, but no, you're straining our mind to start to think Uganda.
Brethren and sister, in Uganda is so beautiful. There is opportunity here. to develop yourself, to develop business. You can't go hungry. Food is abundant. Freshwater lakes are here. From you put yourself in that situation to sustain yourself, then there's positivity in terms of development here. Africa is home. Africa awaits its creation. Africa is beautiful. The land of milk and honey.
Well, you have certainly made it sound that way. If let us, brothers and sisters that are listening, and they want to come home, what business would you encourage them to invest in?
That is a very good question, because here in Uganda, there's a lot of opportunity to develop IT communication networks, photocopying, and I notice here that if you have documents that you need to photocopy or send email or print documents and so forth, that kind of industry is very needed here. It's very well required by the communities here. Other businesses include agriculture, development. Jamaica, there you are very land-oriented, planting fruits and vegetables. Here, that farming is heavily present. In fact, 70 to 80% of the whole population is engaged in some form of agriculture. They grow a lot of matoke, which is green banana. It is the main staple diet here. They eat green banana like wow. So agriculture, people that enjoy our skilled farmers will prosper here.
Are the coffee as good as the Blue Mountain coffee?
Yes. Obviously, Blue Mountain coffee is renowned because of where it comes from, but Ugandan coffee also is renowned within its regions, within where it's imported to. There's a lot of scope for development here for coffee. There's other fruits, a lot of soursop, sweet sop, jackfruit. So within the food industry, the food industry here. Nighttime is like the place live. I can't cook the food quick enough to sell to the people. So here, they reverence and love Jamaicans. So coming here and I don't see many here Jamaican food restaurants at all. So that is one potential.
Yes.
That is a potential business idea here, because it would you'd get a lot of gravitation towards you because they love the Jamaican culture, they love Jamaican artists, Jamaican music. So the music industry again is a good business here in Uganda. It's a live industry. A lot of the artists here are singing and producing reggae. So that is a huge market here. Video recording, production of music, CDs, etc. Is huge. Advertising, brochure production, those types of things to do with media and so on is in huge demand here. The population, as I said, is young, and they engage a lot in social media. A lot. Everyone is on their phone all the time, watching videos and so forth. So
well, we know that has its plus and it has its disadvantages.
Sorry, say that again?
No, it has its pluses. Social media, it has its good, it has its bad.
Well, this is true because, even my own youth, them have to tell them sometime, come off of the phone because obviously, it detracts from what they need to do. But in terms of business,
yes,
and what it can bring forth in terms of IT, media, and social platforms, etc., then that is an avenue, is what I was alluding to.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes, I do understand the disadvantages of social media.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Nice. Empress Zadatu, we really enjoyed this nice, quiet interview. It's an honor for us to be talking to somebody in Uganda, as we sweep across the continent, and for you to bring us up to date on what's happening there and so forth. It's very, very good. We really want to thank you, and we're gonna want to keep in touch with you, so that from
no
time
problem
to time,
at all.
You can.
No problem at all. It's my pleasure, Virgin. And what I will do is ensure that I gather information, particularly regarding some of the issues what I asked, to see if I can get even more information. But yes, please do stay in touch, and I look forward to seeing ones coming in from Jamaica here. Believe me, they love Jamaicans here, and you would get a good reception.
All right, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Nice. Want to thank you very much. Thank your family. Well, because what time it is there now?
It is now 6 o'clock here in Uganda. Just coming up to 6 in the morning.
And it's what time it is here? Yes. It's now almost 10 o'clock here now. So, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir. So, we'll give thanks to each and every one, May peace, love, and harmony reign.
Yes.
Giving thanks to the Most High Creator for all things.
You have any
Rastafari, perfect love.
You have any family here you want to heal?
Yes, I have some family up in Santa Maria, Bullet, Clarendon, Greetings, Samantha. Greetings to my uncle.
Yes.
Greetings to my family in uptown Kingston there. Yeah. Give thanks.
And all these
and give thanks to
all these
I want to yell up
from Empress Zadatu.
Greetings to each and everyone on the platform, Ras Oshing, Catherine Oil, and the Rastafari fraternity from Pit 4 and Ras, all the Ras and Empresses.
Yes.
Give thanks, yell up each and every one.
Yes.
Pasai
Empress
Mr. Ivy. Yes, I.
Bongo Joe, Bongo Money.
Yes, I yell up each and every one. I would love to visit Jamaica and finish some of the work that I've commenced in the past. Sick Be Nourished project. We are here donating medical equipment as well here in Uganda.
Yes.
And we look forward to progressing that work further. So much love and honor, my brother.
Yes. I know, brother Earthquake, he keeps the Africa Liberation Bingy up in Malvern, St. Elizabeth. Every year he keeps the Africa Liberation Day Bingy. So I know he's listening now and enjoying your company.
Well, I'd love to know, say, once come and keep African, what we can call it, not African Liberation Day, but African Reach Day here in Africa itself. You understand?
Right,
Africa Reach Day.
that is the climax. That's the climax.
You get me?
Of our journey.
Yes, I.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot, my sister. Thank you very much for this interview. It was worth the wait. Very good. Thanks a lot.
Give thanks. Perfect love.
All right. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Irie.
Nice. Irie.
Builders of civilization, informative instrument, explain to the nation.
Africans, inventors and their inventions. To know about them we need information. African inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative history, man. Africans make paper, chess and alphabet. Father of medicine, the great emotive. Africans, we are the head of civilization. European popular invent by James Adam. Black people know yourself and try to stand up firm. Biscuit cutter made by AP Osborne. Make me see the and them who not support dead. LC Bailey invent the folding bed. Africans inventors and their inventions. To know about them we need information. Africans inventors and their inventions. Listen to the informative.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turntables activated. Ready. You're about to party. Party with Best 100 FM. Playing in a class superb by itself.
Hey yo, it's feed up. Don't know. Locked into the best 100 FM.
And love more, 'cause you open up the door that shows we are secure. Be thankful and be watchful. We may entertain angels unaware. My neighbor knocked on my door and say, in them in the rush, good morning. I hear chanting, drums beating. What is happening on a natural eye? Some things that watch me fly.